very, very different from ours. I'm not. I can think I would do it, but I suppose if I was next to a
But
problem.
don't babble on, do it distinctively.
I'll do it distinctively. Right. I mustn't look at this by sometimes halfway through, because I haven't done it for a long while. I'll just have a quick check up if that is the case. Right. There's a famous seaside place called Blackpool that's noted for fresh air and fun. And Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbottom went there with young Albert, their son. A grand little lad were young Albert, all dressed in his best, quite a swell, with his stick with his horse's head handle, the finest that Woolworths could sell. Well, they didn't think much to the ocean. The waves were all fiddling and small. There were no wrecks and nobody drowning, in fact nothing to laugh at all. So seeking for further amusement, they paid and went into the zoo. There were lions and tigers and camels, and old ale and sandwiches too. There were one great big lion called Wallace. His head were all covered in scars. He lay in a somnolent posture, with the side of his face on the bars. Now Albert had heard about lions, how they were ferocious and wild, and to see one lion so peaceful didn't seem right to the child. So immediately brave little fella, not showing a morsel of fear, took his stick with his horse's head handle and stuck it in Wallace's ear. Now you could see the lion didn't like it, for giving a kind of a roll, took Albert inside bars a cage with him, and swallowed the little lad whole. Now Pa, who had seen the occurrence, and didn't know what to do next, said, "Mother, yon lion's at Albert." And Mother said, "I am vexed." So Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbottom, quite rightly when all said's and done, complained to the animal keeper. The lion had eaten their son. Well, the keeper were quite nice about it. He said, "What an awful mishap. Are you sure that it's your boy's eaten?" Pa said, "Are we sure? There's his cap." Now this is where I might have to have a quick look. That's right.
Go on, you can remember.
The manager had to be sent for, and he came and he said, "What's to do?" Ma said, "Lion has gone and ate Albert, and him in his Sunday best too." I have to go back, I'll get this right. Then Mother said, "Right's right, young fella. I think it's a shame and a sin for a lion to go and eat Albert, and after we've paid to come in." The manager wanted no trouble. He took out his purse straight away, saying how much to settle the matter. Pa said, "How much do you usually pay?" But Mother had turned a bit awkward when she thought where Albert had gone. She said, "No, someone's got to be summoned." So that were decided upon. They went straightway down police station in front of the magistrate chap and told him what happened to Albert and showed it for showing his cap. The magistrate formed the opinion nobody was really to blame, and he said that he hoped the Ramsbottoms would have further sons to their name. At that Mother got proper blasting. "Oh, thank you so kindly," said she. "What raised children up by the dozen to feed ruddy lions, not me." So that was Albert and the lion. I could read you, if you had time, I haven't learned this one properly, I could read The Return of Albert.
Ooh, he comes back.
The Return of Albert.
Oh yeah!
You've heard how young Albert Ramsbottom in zoo up at Blackpool one year, with a stick and an horse's head handle, gave a lion a poke in the ear. The name of the lion was Wallace. The poke in the ear made him wild, and before you could say Bob's your uncle, he'd up and he'd swallowed the child. He was sorry the moment he'd done it. We children had always been chums, and besides he'd no teeth in his noddle and he couldn't chew Albert on gums. He could feel the lad moving inside him as he lay on his bed of dried ferns, and it might have been little lad's birthday. He wished him such happy returns. But Albert kept kicking and fighting till Wallace arose feeling bad and felt 'twere time he started to stage a comeback for the lad. So with his head down in a corner, on his front paws he started to walk, and he coughed and he sneezed and he gargled till Albert shot out like a cork. Old Wallace felt better directly, and his figure once more became lean, but the only difference with Albert was his face and his hands were quite clean. Meanwhile Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbottom had gone home to tea feeling blue. Ma said, I feel down in the mouth like. Pa said, I bet Albert does too. Said Ma, it just goes for to show you that the future is never revealed. If I thought he was going to lose him, I'd have not had his boots soled and heeled. Let's look on the bright side, said Father. What can't help must be endured. Every cloud has a silvery lining. That did have young Albert insured. A knock at the door came that moment, as Father these kind words did speak. 'Twas the man from the Prudential. He'd called for their twopence per person per week, for the Prudential being an insurance company. When Father saw who had been knocking, he laughed and he kept laughing so. The young man said, what's there to laugh at? Pa said, you'll laugh and all when you know. Excuse him for laughing, said Mother, but really things happen so strange. Oh, Albert's been ate by a lion, you've got to pay us for a change. Said young fella from the Prudential, now come, let's understand this. Do you mean to say that you've lost him? Ma said, oh no, we know where he is. When the young man had heard all the details, a bag from his pocket he drew, and he paid him with interest and bonus the sum of £9, 4 and 2. That's in old. Pa had scarce got his hand on the money when a face at the window they see, and Mother said, hey, look, it's Albert, and Father said, aye, it would be. Young Albert came in all excited and started his story to give, and Pa said, I'll never trust lions again, not as long as I live. The young fellow from the Prudential to pick up the money began, and Father said, hey, just a moment, don't be in a hurry, young man. Then giving young Albert the shilling, he said, pop off back to the zoo. Here's your stick with your horse's head handle, go and see what the tigers can do.